Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it. Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when the darkness feels overwhelming, when everything inside you wants to give up, give in, and disappear. When you wake up with a weight on your chest and wonder, will this ever get better? And I came here today with one message, burned into my soul and branded into my heart. Better days are coming, don't stop. You hear me? Don't stop. You see, pain is part of life, but suffering, that's optional. The greatest transformations don't come when everything's going great. They come when your back is against the wall. When life hits you in the mouth and you have to dig deep and discover who you really are. And I know some of you are in a valley right now. You're not just tired, your soul tired. You've been trying and pushing and holding it all together. But let me remind you of something. You've made it through 100% of your worst days. You're still breathing. You're still here. That's not luck. That's strength. Better days are not just some cheesy motivational phrase. They're a decision, a choice, a commitment to believe that your current situation is not your final destination. Because guess what? Your pain has a purpose. Your past has a lesson. And your future has a promise. But you have to do something dangerous, something bold, something powerful. You've got to keep going. When your emotions scream, I'm done. When your heart says, I can't take another hit. When your mind whispers, just quit. That's when the breakthrough is born. That's when the old version of you dies and the next level begins to breathe. The people who made history, who changed their world, they weren't fearless. They just refused to quit. Walt Disney, fired for lack of creativity. Oprah, told she was unfit for TV. J.K. Rowling, rejected by 12 publishers. Malcolm X, thrown in prison before becoming a voice that shook the earth. The Prophet Muhammad, persecuted, mocked, and threatened for 13 years before Islam flourished. Their secret, they didn't stop, and neither should you. The problem isn't the pain. The problem is what you believe about the pain. You start telling yourself it's proof that you're a failure, that you're cursed, that you're not meant for more. That's a lie. The pain you feel right now, it's evidence that you're alive, that your heart still beats with dreams, that your soul still craves more, that you're still in the fight. So stop saying, why me, and start saying, try me. That's what warriors do. That's what legends do. That's what you do. And let me tell you something. There's a version of you in the future that is so proud you didn't quit today. A version that looks back at this exact moment and says, that was the day everything changed. That was the day I got up and said, enough. But you've got to give yourself permission to hope again, to believe again, to trust that this storm will pass, because it will. No storm lasts forever, but warriors do. When it's hard, go harder. When you fall, get up faster. When they doubt, you believe in yourself louder. When you feel empty, give more. When your knees shake, stand anyway. When your voice trembles, speak anyway. Because listen to me, the future doesn't belong to the fearful. It belongs to the relentless. Don't let your current season convince you that your story is over. This is the chapter that builds the hero. This is where your character is carved. This is where your legacy is written. But it's only written if you keep going. The people who change the world aren't the smartest. They aren't the richest. They aren't the most talented. They're the ones who keep showing up when everyone else gives up. So promise me this. When it hurts, don't stop. When you're tired, don't stop. When they laugh, don't stop. When it's lonely, don't stop. Because better days are coming. And if you stop now, you'll never taste them. Fight through the fog, push through the pressure, step through the fear, walk through the fire, because on the other side is your miracle, your healing, your moment, your better days. So stand up, take a breath, clench your fists, look the pain in the eye, and say, I'm not done yet. Better days are coming. Don't stop. Your current pain is not your permanent story. It's your preparation for something greater. Most people misunderstand pain. They look at it as punishment, as failure, as evidence that life is unfair. But in truth, pain is a messenger. It's not here to destroy you. It's here to prepare you. It's here to forge you. The fire you're feeling right now is refining you, stripping away the doubt, the fear, the old belief systems that no longer serve your destiny. Pain isn't permanent, it's a process, a necessary one, and if you can learn to reframe it, you begin to see something different. You see every great leader, every warrior, every icon who has ever impacted the world, they all had to go through pain. The Prophet Muhammad faced years of exile, mockery, and war before his message reached hearts across continents. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, but that cell didn't confine his purpose, it deepened it. Malala took a bullet to the head, and yet it ignited a global movement for education. Why? Because they understood something. Pain is not the end, it's the training ground, and that same principle applies to your life. When you feel pain, emotional, financial, spiritual, it's your soul screaming, there's something more in you. It's the wake-up call that says you weren't born to settle, you were born to rise. The issue is, most people try to numb pain instead of listening to it. They distract themselves with food, entertainment, or false pleasures. But what if you leaned into it? What if you listened? What if you asked, what is this pain trying to teach me? That shift in mindset changes everything. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of your story and start realizing you're the author of it. Every heartbreak, every loss, every setback, it's all preparation. You weren't abandoned, you were aligned. You weren't destroyed, you were redirected. You weren't broken, you were being rebuilt. That divorce, that betrayal, that diagnosis, that failure, it didn't come to bury you. It came to build the stronger version of you that's necessary to carry your calling. Let me tell you something powerful. The version of you that can handle the blessing you've been praying for, that version has to be forged in fire. You don't develop resilience in comfort. You don't learn courage in convenience. You don't find strength in safety, you find it in struggle, so don't run from the pain, lean in, embrace it, talk to it, let it guide you, because when you do, you'll discover that your current pain is not a prison, it's preparation for something so much greater. Breakdowns precede breakthroughs, the storm clears the path to your destiny. There's a universal principle at work in every transformation. Before things get better, they often get worse. Before light shines brighter, the darkness deepens. Before the mountain peak comes the climb, and that's what breakdowns are. They are not the enemy. They are the threshold. They are the tearing down of the old so something new can emerge. And this is where most people quit, right before the breakthrough. They misinterpret the storm as a sign to turn back, not realizing it's the signal that they're getting close. When life breaks down, when the job falls through, when the relationship ends, when the health report comes in, it's not random. It's a recalibration. It's God saying, I need to break the illusion so I can reveal the truth. Because let's be honest, some of us only wake up when life shakes us, and breakdowns do that. They shake the lie out of you. They shake the ego out of you, they shake the dependency out of you, and what's left, the real you, the grounded you, the powerful you. Look at nature. Before the seed grows, the shell has to break. Before the phoenix rises, it must burn. Before the caterpillar flies, it has to dissolve. Total breakdown. And that's not weakness, that's metamorphosis. That's how elevation works. You can't carry your next level in the same container as your last. Something has to break, and the storm, that's the divine chisel. It strips away the noise, it forces you to ask deeper questions, it confronts your illusions, it tests your resolve, and here's the beauty, the storm never lasts. No storm in history has ever been permanent. It comes, it shakes, it breaks, and then it clears. It leaves room for clarity, for courage, for calling. You see the path that was always there, but you couldn't see it through the fog. And that's what breakdowns are meant to do. They're not punishments, they're portals. They transport you from who you were into who you must become to reach your destiny. So don't resist the storm, don't curse the breakdown. Instead, trust it. Trust that this chapter is necessary. that this process is purposeful, that this pressure is shaping you into a person you never imagined. And when the breakthrough comes, and it will, you'll look back at the breakdown and say, "Thank God I didn't quit." Because the breakdown was never the end, it was always the beginning. The belief that tomorrow can be better gives you the power to fight today. Hope is not soft. Hope is not weak. Hope is power. Hope is strategy. Hope is fuel, and when everything around you is dark, when the noise is loud, when the tears won't stop, when your hands are shaking, it's hope that keeps you standing. It's the belief, however small, that says, tomorrow can be better, I can get through this, I'm not finished. And don't you dare underestimate that belief. The people who rise in the face of impossible odds, they don't do it because they had certainty. They do it because they had hope. Martin Luther King Jr. stood in front of a divided nation with a dream, not a plan. A dream, that's hope. Anne Frank wrote in her diary about the beauty of the world while hiding from genocide, that's hope. Your grandmother, who prayed for decades when nothing seemed to change, that's hope. And it's available to you right now. Even in your worst moment, there is always one thing you control, your focus. You can either focus on fear or on the future, on limitation or on possibility, on despair or on destiny. And what you focus on, you feel, so shift it. Choose hope, not because your circumstances are easy, but because they're temporary, and your purpose, your dream, that's eternal. Hope doesn't mean you're naive. It means you're dangerous, because a person with hope can't be manipulated, they can't be controlled, they're not a slave to their circumstances, they rise above them, they see beyond the now, they envision a future so real it pulls them forward. And that vision, that's how you fight, that's how you get up again. That's how you take the next step when everything in you wants to quit. So if today is heavy, if the weight feels too much, don't try to lift it all. Just hold on to one thought: this will not last, I will not break. Better days are coming, and that belief alone, that's the seed of transformation. That's the spark that lights the fire again. That's the reminder that you've still got fight left in you. And as long as you believe in tomorrow, you've got everything you need to conquer today. Momentum doesn't come from motivation. It comes from movement. Keep going. Most people wait to feel motivated. They think they have to be inspired to act, but that's backwards. You don't get results because you're motivated. You get motivated because you take action. You start moving, and momentum begins to build. It's physics. It's psychology. It's spiritual law. The problem is, we want to feel different before we do different. We wait for clarity, for energy, for confidence, and in that waiting we rot. We stay stuck. But champions, leaders, warriors, they don't wait for perfect conditions. They move, they act, they do it scared, they do it tired, they do it unsure, because they know the power is in the motion. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly alive? Was it when you were sitting still? No, it was when you were moving towards something meaningful, when you made the call, wrote the book, took the risk. That movement ignited something in you, and that ignition, that's momentum, and once it starts, it multiplies. One step turns into a jog into a sprint into a mission. So if you're stuck right now, if you feel paralyzed, the answer isn't to wait for motivation. It's to move just one step, send the message, make the call, go to the gym, open the notebook, do it terribly, but do it, because motion beats meditation every time. Discipline beats delay. Progress beats perfection. Always. And the beauty is this: once you start moving, motivation shows up, confidence shows up, clarity shows up. You don't wait for the mood, you create it. You build it through sweat equity, through consistent action in the direction of your vision. So don't ask, how do I stay motivated? Ask, how do I stay moving? Because if you move, momentum will meet you. And once you've got momentum, you become unstoppable. You're not buried, you're planted. And better days are the harvest of your resilience. There's a massive difference between being buried and being planted. From the outside, they look the same: darkness, pressure, silence. But one is the end, and one is the beginning. One is a grave and one is a garden, and I need you to hear me this season you're in right now. It's not your burial, it's your planting. You're not dead, you're developing. The pain you're experiencing, the isolation, the confusion, that's the soil pressing in. That's the roots taking hold. That's the foundation being built. Because before the fruit appears, the root must go deep. Before you rise, you must be grounded. Before you can shine, you must grow in the unseen. So don't misread the darkness. Don't curse the dirt. Don't assume the silence means abandonment. It means preparation. It means that something powerful is happening underneath even if you can't see it yet. It means the harvest is coming, but only if you don't give up in the process. Resilience is your superpower. It's your ability to rise, to adapt, to bounce back even stronger. And the more pressure you face, the deeper your roots grow. The deeper your roots, the higher your branches. So when the wind comes, and it will, you don't fall. You sway, you bend, but you don't break. And when that first leaf breaks through the soil, when that dream starts to manifest, when that breakthrough finally comes, you'll understand why the wait was necessary, why the pressure was worth it, why the darkness had a purpose, because you were never buried. You were planted, and better days, they were always on the way, waiting for your roots to catch up with your vision. So hold on, stay rooted. Keep rising, because the harvest is coming, and it's going to be more than you imagined, but only if you don't stop. Thank you.